And now, presenting his first ever discussion debut. Well, of course it's his first, it's a debut. You're brand new. There with his host, the valedictorian. Salutations, my adoring fans-to-be. I am the valedictorian. Don't ask what that means, I'll think of something. And this is my new show. Here we're going to be discussing whatever topic I feel has interesting enough questions to be asked and trendy enough to be exploited. Today that topic is Ena Dream BBQ, a beautiful looking game based off and a continuation of popular web series Ena. For those who don't know, Ena is about, I think it's about the moon and her pet abstract painting of the Ukraine flag's human Sona. Links in the description. The show is very abstract is the point. One of the few consistencies of the show is Ena herself. On first glance, she seems to be just as abstract as her world, with that absurd body of hers and her nonsensical dialogue. But there are consistencies to her. Whenever she feels even mildly upset, she changes almost into a different person. She switches to a sad sack of simpering, sobbing sadness, having mental breakdowns, vomiting, attacking her self-esteem, and going as far as even begging for death. It's absolutely hilarious. However, she has another side to her as well. One that appeared for like 5 seconds and yet is a fan favorite. One that everyone suspects is evil despite doing literally nothing. A smiling little creep who loves being cryptic and aloof. Hara! Wait, no. Drunk Ena! This Ena seems to just spout nonsense while under the influence, but at least she's having fun. These two versions of Ena seem to represent Ena's duality. There are other forms that Ena takes, but they seem to lack any individuality. The only Enas that seem to matter are these 3. According to a quote from Joji on Twitter, which I can't be bothered to find, none of these Enas are separate people, which means that Ena isn't the case of the tragically misrepresented dissociative identity disorder, or other specified dissociative disorders that I know of. These Enas, I feel, are supposed to represent the facets of who Ena is. And that's what ignited this topic of discussion. Because Ena's making her grand return, bigger and hotter than ever. Beautifully rendered and animated, and with a shiny new Ena to sink your teeth into. In game form! And the marketing for the game has revealed to us 3 Enas. Consistency is good for branding. But there is something different about these Enas. For those who missed the stream on Ena Day, celebrated mainly as a holiday about being generous till it was commercially milked, Ena was recast twice, once for each voice. The new Ena voices represent new Ena sides. Gone is the miserable, moping, mushy, melancholic mope that was Ena Bloom, replaced with a new, vicious, bold Ena, who isn't afraid to speak her mind. The other Ena side is actually very similar to the OGE. And then there's this one. What I'd like to know is, what do these Enas represent? We know Ena Blue was pure pathetic pouting, and Ena Yellow was the intoxicated pure happy chemicals of Ena. But the new generation has some speculation worth getting into. Well folks, let's find out together, shall we? Let's start with the obvious. Red Ena, #1 rated salesperson 1997. For those who recall the original Ena, who I'll be calling Ena 1 and this one Ena 2 Age of Ultron, you may believe this Ena to be her happy side based on appearance. However, I believe a lot of other Ena heads, believe this Ena to be nothing more than a persona. The salesperson's corporate smile. Like your workplace personality. Or the persona that's hosting this show and talking to you right now. I'm not a real person. I'm not a real. The main reason I suspect this is because of the Ena that appears in the other 8 seconds. The fan favorite Mina Ena. Mina, This Ena is much less respectful and polite than the red one, and seems to hate her job as a goddamn Uber driver. I feel this Ena represents her true self in a way. How she feels about a situation, frustrated, bitter, angry, repressed. If this Ena and the more humanoid Ena we see in these shots are the same, then that tracks in my opinion. The Ena here has no reasons to be trying to sell you something. Alone, desperate, I believe this one to be either Ena's true self, or at least her unrepressed frustrations. So far pretty easy. But then there's— Whoa, holy shit! Share, like, subscribe, and tell us your own ideas as to who these Enas are in the comments. Green Ena! Greena! This thing depresses me. I'm especially fascinated by the cracks on her face. Being the owner of a character that has a similar design choice, I speculate that this is a nod to Ena feeling broken, emotionally distressed. This one is easily the most mysterious of them, unlike the other two who not only had similarities with Ena 1 and had voice lines and dialogue to clarify the kinds of person their Enas were. Greena has had none of that. She had a few scenes of chewing her cud, dancing, or jumping, trying to reach the sky mannequins. Here's my theory. As I said, cracks in the face of a character could mean feeling broken or emotionally distressed. I feel that they are supposed to represent intense negative emotion. In this frame, we see her going around town, seeping something from her eyes, crying. And one last thing I want to point out. What I said about Ena 1 not being a useful reference for Greena is not entirely accurate. Let me explain. Look at Drunk Ena. She is mainly the yellow side, a color regularly associated with happiness. And the booing bag of boo-hoo that is Ena Blue.
We all know the meaning of blue.
Here's how I see the scene playing out. Ena is making her deliveries. Maybe she stops for a snack or something. Then she sees it. People rising to some kind of heaven-like opportunity. They made it. They found a way out of this mundane, routine existence. They got their ascending rise. Ena begins to turn green. Green with envy. The sight is too much for her. It just isn't fair. She begins jumping to try and reach it, maybe to get its attention or to rise like they did, but it's not working. Ena begins getting angry, sad, distressed. She starts driving herself insane, unraveling, sobbing. The god of opportunity leaves with its chosen few. Ena's fight begins to leave her. There's nothing she can do now but break. And that's my theory as to who the three Enas are. Thank you for watching, and be sure to share this video around. I have big plans for this show, and I hope I get to continue it. Maybe monetize it? Please. Anywho, next time we're going to ponder the question as to whether Ena 1 and Ena 2, Rise of the Silver Surfer, are the same person. Tune in next time! Now like and subscribe.